Neil, thanks very much for talking to us today. It's great to see you, and challenging times for everyone. And how are you dealing with it in terms of having to talk to the players, your coaches, on a day-to-day basis?
Um, yeah, I mean, a few of the players are back in the home country, so they're the ones that are furthest away. So try to keep in touch with them, and just see how they're getting on, how they're coping with the lockdown. In terms of the players that are here, you know, they've all got individual training programs, very strict and rigid, and they all have to report in on an app that the fitness coaches and the physios are overlooking. So we get a timetable and how much work they've done and how much time they've done it in. So that's working well for us in terms of their individual training programs. But obviously, there's no group sessions, and that's the most difficult thing for a player at the minute, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a player and as a manager, you've seen a lot in your time in football, but this is, I'm guessing, must be the biggest challenge and certainly the most unique challenge that nobody's ever had to deal with before.
Yeah, it's awful what's going on, around the world, but yeah, it's definitely unique, and it seems an age away since we last played our last game against St Mirren at home. So I think in terms of keeping the players motivated, keeping the players occupied, I think their own self motivation is still very very strong. And the only thing they're asking me is, when can we get back to training as a group? When can we all start back again? But obviously, no one has an answer to that at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be frustrating for them and for you as well because when you think of the form that we were on, particularly in 2020, I mean, they would just be desperate to play because it was just phenomenal.
Yeah, we were in superb form. I thought the first half of the season was superb as well. The second half of the season was just as good. We particularly domestically, we'd only dropped 2 points in so many league games, and obviously we're making a brilliant challenge again for the Scottish Cup. We're in the semi final, but the form that they were in, since the turn of the year was blistering, and we even in our last game we scored five against St Mirren at home, and that was just a sort of fine example of the form that we had. It's a difficult thing to do at that stage of the season as well, but mentally and physically, they're in a fantastic place, and I was delighted with individual performances, but also the team as a collective is outstanding.
Yeah, because I think I said to you before, when you just look at the comparison to last season, we're 10 points better off. We've scored 141 goals, which I think is 37 more than last season. And we're playing the sort of football that Celtic fans love and have got used to seeing, the kind of Celtic way.
Yeah, I mean, attacking wise, and even defensively, you know, as a unit, we're functioning great. We even changed the formation, and they were very flexible with that as well, and adapted to that brilliantly. The football we were playing was, fast, free flowing, and we were scoring a lot of goals, as you say. And our goal difference was, 70, which in this day and age is a huge turnaround. Um, I was so pleased with players coming back from injury as well. We actually had one injury at that stage, and that was the Michael out of the whole group. So in terms of their fitness levels and their appetite for playing, and at that stage, they're the real bit between the teeth, and we were just rampaging through the league at the time.
And obviously we don't really know what's going to be happening in terms of Scottish football. We've seen what's happening with the other leagues, the Championship and League One and Two, but I know the players, as you say, they just want to get back on the pitch. They want to play the games. We're 13 points clear, 8 games to go. We're going for that nine in a row, and the form we were in, I think we were unstoppable.
Yeah, we want to play. You know, if we could go back and play the games, I think we'll have to underline that. I think everyone at the club, players, myself, my backroom staff, fans, want to play the games. Whether that can be achieved or not's another thing. Um, but they're the ones who have lost out the most, really, in terms of the opportunity to play in front of the supporters. We were going for nine in a row. We were going for another, quadruple treble. Um, and I feel so sorry for them, at this stage in terms of football and sense of view. Hopefully that can be, lit up again. At some stage we can start it up again, but if not, then we'll have to wait and see what happens and what the outcomes of that's going to be. Listening to Nicola Sturgeon yesterday, that was, a bit discouraging, about mass gatherings, and we've got a mandate for the 10th of June to, at the minute, where we can sort of maybe start back in training in groups of more than 10 maybe, but at the minute it's all up in the air, Paul, and no one really has an answer to when we can start back.
Yeah, and just as you said, the players, and I've spoke to some of the players, and while it's frustrating for them, I think they are enjoying that kind of remote competition that the physios and Jack Naylor and John Curry are setting up for them, and they need to keep that competitive edge, don't they?
Well, they're competitive animals, and at the minute I don't know how they're coping with it, because I just think of myself, even as a manager, but as a player, it must have been so difficult, and it must be so difficult to you know train on your own. But at least with a little bit of competition and a little bit of banter going on between the players, then there is that bit of motivation for them. You know that competitive instinct they'll never lose, and that's a great thing to have.
Yeah, and when I spoke to the John Kennedy a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying that obviously some of the coaches have been getting involved in that, but also he was saying that you enjoy a quiz as well. That's kind of the competitive edge for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can compete physically with the players anymore, but yeah, we have a little staff quiz when we're all together. We get two teams organised, and it's a lot of fun. Damien Duff comes up with a few cracking questions as well for us on the WhatsApp group. So yeah, that keeps you sort of like stimulated.
Right. Can I give you a question then, and you can give it to the guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've won the League Cup 19 times. The last time was this season. What was unique about the League Cup win in 1997-98?
What was
So,
unique about it?
I can leave that one with you, and you can you can ask the guys, and then I'll tell you once we've finished what the answer is, and then you
All
can.
right, brilliant. I'll leave the answer.
In terms of this season, obviously the League Cup win, your first triumph in that tournament as a manager, that's been one of the highlights. But what have been the highlights for you so far this season?
There's been so many. Obviously, we had a great Euro campaign in the group stage. Um, you know, Going to Lazio and winning, I think that was very, very special for everyone associated with the club, and not just the win, just the manner of the win as well. We also topped the group, and we won the group with a game to spare, and I thought that was, you know, us moving forward as a group. Certainly in from a Europe perspective, domestically, they've been absolutely fantastic. The League Cup, was the one trophy that I hadn't won, so it was great to get that one over the line. And in the manner we did it was quite dramatic as well, and special. Um, there's so many highlights. Being 4-0 up at Pedagogy at half time. Just playing some scintillating football. Winning the first, you know, derby of the season, under immense pressure. Um, and the emergence of some players, the likes of Frimpong, that was a real highlight. And then the consistency of, your Brown, your McGregors, your Edwards, your Christies, your Forrests. Julian came in and had a great first season. Chris Ayer had a great season. So there's so many individual players to choose from as well, in terms of if you're looking for a standout player of the year. There's so much competition there, and the consistency of the team, the way they sort of embraced our ideas and how we wanted to play, whether it be a 4-3-3 or then the change of system in the second half of the season, and just the camaraderie and their will to win. That stands out for me. I mean, it was incredibly consistent again. Going for another treble, which I mean was just remarkable in this day and age when you think about it. So they're a special group, and it's been brilliant working with them, and I can't wait to work with them again.
Yeah, I mean, when you start to list some of the players that have played well this season, it gives you an indication of how tough it is for fans to choose their player of the year. And obviously, for diplomatic reasons, the management team can't really name an individual player. But I think it is quite a tough choice for everybody this year.
Yeah, everyone will have their own sort of favourites and their own reasons why. But I mean, like the players that I've mentioned already, you could throw a blanket over them. You could throw Ollie and Cham in there as well, who was playing brilliantly before the season stopped. So yeah, I think it's a measure of how well we've done that. You could have a list of individual players for the Player of the Year.
Yeah. In terms of the goal of the season, do you have a particular favourite goal?
I think the most significant one would probably be Ollie's and then probably Chris Julien's in the cup final as well. Because they were two standout moments. But Callum McGregor's goal at Fair Park was a great goal.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant team goal. Great play between Ollie, Ryan, Jamesy, and a magnificent finish. I mean, Odson's probably got his own sort of list of brilliant goals. Individual goals. His first goal, I think the first goal up at Audrey, when he just goes on one of those mazy runs and finishes it brilliantly. You could put that in there as well. There's just so many again, Paul. I mean, I don't know how many goals we had scored in the league up until now, but there was a plethora of outstanding goals along the way.
Yeah, it's interesting you were saying about Callum's goal for parking. Again, we spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and he, you kind of changed up the formation when we came back after the winter break, and he really enjoyed that. He thrived on it, and he felt, it was allowing him to move forward and getting into more goal scoring positions.
Well, he definitely has that in his game, and we don't want to make him too defensive as a player because he's got so much creativity, ingenuity going forward, and you know really good finisher as well. He was immense this season in more ways than one, and yeah, that goal for me, it just stands out because some of the play was one touch stuff which we work on every day, and then it was a magnificent finish as well.
Yeah. I mean, you think obviously James Forrest was involved in that goal. When you think of the likes of him and Scott Brown, they've been there throughout this whole 8 in a row run. And again, that's testament to their quality, because it's always that great saying that Tommy Burns said, was that, bad players don't stay long at Celtic Park. And there's a reason why those two players have stayed for so long and done so well.
It's incredible. We're talking about consistency over almost a decade. Playing week in, week out, year in, year out, under immense pressure and thriving in that environment. And I know from my own experiences, what a great place to play and it is, but how the competition is huge and the pressure and expectation on you is huge. And for those two to be in with a chance for 9 in a row and winning all those titles and domestic honours and playing at Champions League level, playing at European level, they're modern day greats for me. And I'm hoping I hope to see them soon. I hope to see them back on the pitch real soon. But yeah, the two outstanding servants of the club, no question of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose finally, and again, it's something we've said to everybody, that at this time, I mean, the message is obviously to stay at home, stay safe, but it's when you really appreciate the kind of work that, people in the front line, doctors, nurses, people in care homes, that the sort of work that they're doing day in, day out for all of us, it's hard to put into words how much you appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean they're putting their life on the line, Paul. This is a virus that it's new. There's no ready-made cure for it, and these people are going out there, helping to save lives day in day out and putting their own life and health at risk. And it's amazing, things that we probably took for granted for a long time in our lives has all suddenly changed. And thoughts and prayers are with them all the way, as the Celtic support would echo that as well. Um, and we're hoping that this comes to an end sooner rather than later, and we can get back to some kind of normality for all of us. But these people deserve our unbelievable thanks and gratitude.
Yeah, and as you say, hopefully we get to see you and the guys back at Celtic Park before too long. But thanks very much for taking the time to talk to us, Neil.
I can't wait, Paul. See you soon. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.